When God begins to move in your life, everything around you starts to shift. The atmosphere changes. The familiar begins to lose its comfort. What once made sense begins to shake, and suddenly you realize you are no longer where you used to be. You are being carried by a force greater than yourself, guided by an unseen hand, moved by a will that is divine. When God is moving you, you will feel it in your bones. You will sense it in your spirit. It won't always make sense to your mind, but your heart will know that something holy is taking place. You will know that heaven has decided to rearrange your path, not to destroy you, but to prepare you for something you could never imagine. When God moves you, He first disturbs your comfort. God never moves anyone who insists on staying comfortable. Comfort is the enemy of calling. And so, the first thing God does is make your old life unbearable. You will feel a divine restlessness in your spirit. What used to satisfy you will now leave you empty. The conversations you once enjoyed will suddenly feel meaningless. The environment that once brought you peace will begin to drain you. This is not depression. It is transformation. It is the movement of God within your soul, pushing you out of the ordinary into the extraordinary. You will wake up one day and realize, I can't stay here anymore. That's when you know God is moving you. The nest begins to feel too small for the eagle that's meant to soar. And as this movement intensifies, you will start losing people. The second thing that happens when God is moving you is separation. You cannot take everyone into the next dimension of your destiny. There are people who were essential in your last season, but dangerous in your next. God will begin to cut ties you didn't have the courage to cut. You will wonder why certain relationships fall apart. You will try to fix what God Himself is dismantling. But when God is moving you, He removes attachments that will slow you down. Not everyone who clapped for you loves you. Not everyone who walked with you is meant to stay. When God elevates you, He must isolate you. The noise around you has to quiet down so you can hear His direction clearly. What feels like rejection is often redirection. You will cry, you will question, but you will understand later that it was divine surgery. Painful but necessary for your survival. Then comes the third sign. You will face resistance. When God is moving you, the enemy will notice. Every time destiny draws near, opposition rises. Don't mistake resistance for defeat. It's confirmation. The moment you decide to follow where God leads, forces that were once silent will suddenly awaken against you. People will misunderstand you, situations will turn against you, and doors that seemed open will suddenly close. But remember this, when God is moving you, He doesn't remove the storm. He gives you strength to walk through it. Resistance is not a sign that you are wrong. It's proof that you are advancing. The enemy only attacks what threatens him. And when your life begins to carry the fragrance of divine movement, every power of darkness takes notice. But don't be afraid. What God begins, no opposition can destroy. You are being tested not to break you, but to reveal the depth of your faith. Every challenge is a training ground for the strength required in the next level. As this divine transition unfolds, the fourth thing that happens is silence. You will pray, and God will seem distant. You will seek answers, and heaven will appear quiet. But don't misinterpret divine silence as absence. When God is moving you, He often withdraws His voice so you can learn to trust His hand. You won't always hear Him, but you will see the evidence of His movement. He will close some doors so firmly that you will know only He could have done it. He will open others so suddenly that your heart will tremble with awe. Silence is God's language of intimacy. It's in the quiet that your roots grow deep. It's in the stillness that faith matures. Many lose hope in the silence, but the wise understand it is preparation. Just as the seed breaks in silence before it sprouts, your destiny is forming in hiddenness before it manifests. When God stops speaking, it's often because He's busy working. Then, as you continue to walk in obedience despite confusion, something remarkable happens. The fifth sign appears. Your perspective begins to change. You start seeing what you once ignored. You begin to discern what you once tolerated. Your spiritual senses awaken. You no longer chase what others chase. The noise of the world loses its grip on you. You start valuing peace over popularity, purpose over pleasure, depth over distraction. God is renewing your mind. He is shifting your vision. You begin to understand that not everything that glitters is gold. What others call success, you begin to see as emptiness without divine purpose. This change in perspective is not random. It is spiritual maturity. When God moves you, He not only changes your surroundings, He transforms your sight. You begin to perceive the unseen. You start walking by faith, not by feeling. You stop reacting to circumstances and start responding to divine instructions. Your discernment becomes sharper, your priorities clearer, and your heart quieter. You start to live from the inside out. But the most powerful sign, the sixth thing that happens when God is moving you, is divine acceleration. After all the pain, pruning, and preparation, suddenly things begin to move fast. What took others years will happen for you in months. What seemed delayed will manifest at the appointed time with supernatural speed. You will look back and realize why God made you wait, why He removed certain people, why He allowed certain disappointments. Every tear, every closed door, every silent night, it all makes sense now. When God moves you, He restores lost time. He redeems wasted seasons. He opens doors no man can shut. He causes the right people to find you, the right opportunities to chase you, and the right blessings to overtake you. Acceleration is God's signature on your obedience. It's His way of saying, now that you have trusted me in the slow, I can trust you with the fast. The same God who seemed silent is now flooding your life with movement. Divine speed begins to operate where once there was stagnation. You will stand in awe of how everything begins to align perfectly. Because when it's God's time, nothing can stop it. But remember, divine movement is not always glamorous. It's often disguised as chaos. When God is moving you, He will shake the very foundations of your life. You will feel stretched beyond your limits. You will have moments of confusion, moments where you wonder if you misunderstood His plan. Yet through it all, something inside you will whisper, keep going. That whisper is not your imagination. It is divine guidance. It's the Spirit of God reminding you that the pain of transition is temporary, but the purpose is eternal. Growth always feels uncomfortable because it requires leaving behind who you were to become, who God destined you to be. Every shaking is proof that God is building something greater. You cannot have a new beginning without an ending. So, when things fall apart, don't panic, praise. Because it means God is constructing something new. And as you continue walking this divine journey, you'll notice that God begins to remove distractions. You'll lose the desire for meaningless entertainment, the appetite for shallow conversations, the craving for validation from others. You will begin to crave stillness, truth, and the presence of God. You'll find yourself more focused, more selective, more peaceful. That is divine movement. God is decluttering your soul. He's emptying you of noise so He can fill you with direction. He's stripping away your dependence on people so He can anchor you in His power. You'll start realizing that solitude is not loneliness, it's alignment. When you are alone, you can hear God clearly. When everyone leaves, you finally meet the one who never does. It's in those sacred moments of solitude that destiny downloads happen. Visions become clear. Purpose becomes undeniable. That is where God births greatness. In hidden places, in quiet seasons, in the hearts of those who refuse to give up. But you must be careful, because divine movement often offends the flesh. When God is moving you, you will feel torn between your comfort and your calling. The flesh will resist change, but the spirit will crave it. You'll feel a pull to go back to what's familiar, but something deeper will push you forward. Don't give in to nostalgia. Don't romanticize what God has already delivered you from. Some doors are closed because they were traps. Some people are gone because their presence would poison your promise. The path of divine movement is narrow. Few understand it. But those who trust it walk in power. They carry a peace that surpasses understanding, a strength that confuses the world. When God is moving you, your life becomes a testimony of unseen hands shaping visible outcomes. You see, God doesn't move you randomly. Every shift is strategic. Every discomfort is divine. Sometimes He will move you geographically to a new place where your gifts can grow. Other times, He moves you emotionally, healing old wounds so you can love again. And sometimes He moves you spiritually, pulling you out of shallow waters into deeper faith. No matter how it happens, movement means growth. It means you are no longer standing still in fear. It means God is trusting you with a greater assignment. Every great destiny requires movement. The ones who refuse to move miss what was meant for them. But the ones who surrender to the flow of God's hand become unstoppable. They walk through fire and come out refined. They face storms and emerge stronger. They lose everything but gain wisdom. That is what divine movement does. It turns ordinary souls into vessels of divine power. And as you continue on this path, you will realize that not everyone will understand you anymore. When God is moving you, your conversations change, your goals shift, your energy evolves. People who once connected with you now say you've changed. And they're right. You have changed. You are no longer living by human logic. You are living by divine instruction. Your life is no longer about proving yourself. It's about fulfilling divine purpose. You won't have time for gossip, competition, or comparison. Your focus will be on growth, on inner peace, on alignment with God's will. That's the mark of divine movement. You no longer chase the world. The world begins to chase what you carry. There will be moments of testing in this journey. God will allow certain challenges to see if your faith is rooted in comfort or conviction. You may lose things that once defined you: status, possessions, approval. But in losing them, you will find your true self. You will realize that your worth was never in what you had, but in who God created you to be. Divine movement always begins with subtraction before multiplication. God takes away what limits you so He can add what will elevate you. That's why He removes certain people, closes certain doors, and blocks certain paths. It's not punishment, it's preparation. He's not trying to make your life smaller. He's making room for something greater. And when you fully surrender to this process, something extraordinary happens. You begin to walk with divine confidence. You no longer question every turn. You stop begging for signs. You stop chasing validation. You simply trust. You wake up knowing that even if today brings uncertainty, God is still in control. You stop worrying about what others think, because your peace no longer depends on approval. It depends on alignment. That's the freedom that comes when God is moving you. You realize that you don't have to force anything. What's meant for you will find you. You don't have to compete. You just have to stay connected. You don't have to know the whole plan. You just have to trust the planner. When God is moving you, life no longer feels predictable. Everything familiar begins to tremble, and you can almost feel the ground beneath you shifting. It is as though the wind of heaven has entered your story and is rearranging every piece of it. You start to sense that you are no longer the one in control. Something greater is steering the course. And though it feels unsettling, there is peace beneath the shaking. That peace whispers to your spirit, this is not the end. This is transition. When God moves you, He is not punishing you. He is promoting you. The breaking is not meant to destroy you. It is meant to release the version of you that could never come forth while you remained in comfort. You see, when God moves you, He begins by stirring a divine dissatisfaction in your soul. What once excited you begins to feel empty. What once felt fulfilling begins to feel stale. This is how God awakens your destiny. He disturbs your spirit to pull you into higher ground. Many people mistake this divine stirring as failure or frustration. But in truth, it is God's way of saying, you've stayed here long enough. God does not want you stuck in places that no longer feed your growth. He will shake the ground beneath your feet until you can no longer settle for mediocrity. You will find yourself restless, yearning for something more, something deeper, something truer. That is the evidence of movement. God is preparing to take you to a place where your potential can finally breathe. And as this divine transition begins, God starts to strip away illusions. The masks of people fall off. The motives behind relationships become clear. You begin to see beyond appearances and recognize the difference between companionship and distraction. God will not allow you to remain blind in a season of movement. When He begins to elevate you, clarity becomes His gift to you. He will show you who is truly for you and who has only been taken from you. You will begin to feel the weight of misplaced loyalty. But don't be discouraged when people fall away. It is part of divine alignment. God removes what no longer belongs to make space for what must enter. Every exit, though painful, is preparation for a new entrance. Sometimes, the silence of people is the voice of God saying, "You don't need them for where I'm taking you." When God is moving you, He begins to break attachments that have quietly enslaved your soul. You may lose possessions, positions, or relationships, but it is never lost in the hands of God. It is refinement. He takes away what anchors you to the temporary so He can anchor you in the eternal. God never allows you to lose something that is essential to your purpose. Every removal has meaning. Every closed door is a form of protection. The disappointment you feel today is often the shield that prevents tomorrow's destruction. So when things fall apart, instead of crying out, "Why me?" start saying, "Thank you, God, for moving me." Because what you don't see is that God is rearranging your life behind the curtain. He is building a new chapter while you are still grieving the last. And in this season of divine movement, confusion often becomes your companion. You will not always understand what is happening, and that is by design. God will not allow your understanding to go before your obedience. He leads you step by step, moment by moment, teaching you to trust without explanation. That is how faith grows. Faith is not proven when the path is clear. Faith is proven when you walk through the fog, still believing that God knows the way. When God is moving you, you will not see the entire map. You will only see the next step. He hides the destination, so your dependency stays on Him. The darkness is not a sign of His absence. It's a call to walk closer. When you can no longer trace His hand, you must trust His heart. That trust becomes your anchor when everything else is shifting. And as you continue in obedience, you begin to notice something remarkable. Your spirit starts to grow stronger than your circumstances. The fear that once controlled you begins to lose its power. The doubts that once paralyzed you begin to fade. You start to walk differently. You start to speak differently. You begin to respond instead of react. This is the transformation that happens when God is moving you. You are no longer being driven by emotion. You are being guided by divine wisdom. You begin to understand that not every battle requires your reaction. Some storms are meant to pass without your interference. When God is moving you, you learn to be still while He fights for you. You realize that silence is sometimes the loudest form of faith. But in this divine process, you must also understand that movement does not always look like progress. Sometimes God moves you backward to prepare you for a greater forward. He allows delays to develop patience, detours to deepen faith, and disappointments to reveal hidden strength. The path of divine movement is never straight. It is purposeful. What looks like a setback is often a setup. What feels like waiting is often alignment. When you feel as though nothing is happening, God is actually arranging everything. The unseen hand of heaven is writing chapters you have yet to read. So don't rush the process. Don't try to force open doors that are meant to remain closed. Timing is sacred. When the appointed moment comes, everything will unfold effortlessly. The same God who began the movement will bring it to completion. When God is moving you, He also changes the atmosphere around you. People begin to perceive something different in you even before you speak. Your presence starts to carry peace. Your words start to carry weight. And your energy begins to shift. You will notice that those who live in confusion may feel uncomfortable around you because divine clarity exposes everything false. The light in you begins to irritate the darkness in others, but do not dim it. God did not move you to blend in. He moved you to stand out. You are not meant to be ordinary. You are meant to carry divine distinction. And with that distinction comes responsibility. God will test your humility in promotion, your compassion in power, and your obedience in abundance. Movement is not just about elevation. It's about refinement of character. There will also come a moment when you realize that divine movement is not always external. It's internal first. Before God changes your situation, He changes your spirit. Before He expands your territory, He expands your capacity. You will feel God breaking old mindsets, dismantling fears, and reshaping the way you think. He will confront your insecurities and uproot the lies that have held you captive. You will begin to feel lighter, freer, more centered. That is the internal movement, the unseen transformation that precedes the visible one. When your inner world aligns with the will of God, your outer world begins to reflect it. Change always begins within before it manifests without. And as you keep walking through this divine process, you will notice a sacred pattern. Before every great breakthrough, there is always a great breaking. Before the dawn, there is always darkness. Before the promise, there is always pressure. That is how God strengthens you. Pressure builds endurance. It purifies your motives. It teaches you to stand firm when everything around you shakes. Many give up during this stage, not realizing that the breaking is a sign that birth is near. God allows the pressure to push you into purpose. You can't become what He created you to be without shedding what you used to be. Every breaking is birth disguised. What looks like pain is actually God's hand preparing you for manifestation. When God is moving you, you begin to live with divine awareness. You no longer see coincidences. You see coordination. You begin to recognize divine timing in every delay, divine protection in every closed door, and divine mercy in every redirection. You start to realize that nothing in your life is random. Even the mistakes you made are being turned into messages. Even the pain you endured is being shaped into purpose. God wastes nothing. Every season, whether joyful or sorrowful, is being woven into your destiny. The pieces that don't make sense now will form a masterpiece later. All He asks is that you trust Him long enough to see it. And in the fullness of divine movement, you begin to attract what belongs to your purpose. Opportunities start aligning. Right connections appear without effort. You begin to meet people who reflect the next level of your journey. Conversations shift. Environments evolve. and even your desires transform. What once satisfied you now seems too small for the vision growing inside you. That is divine alignment. When God moves you, He doesn't just send blessings. He makes you the kind of person who can handle them. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer strive, you flow. You no longer live in fear, you live in faith. That is what it means to be carried by divine movement. You are no longer forcing outcomes. You are walking in divine rhythm. But don't mistake divine rhythm for ease. Movement often brings stretching. God will place you in situations that test your patience, stretch your faith, and challenge your discipline. The higher you rise, the stronger your foundation must be. So when God moves you, He deepens your roots before He extends your reach. He teaches you to stand still in trust while He works beyond your sight. This is the hidden power of divine preparation. While the world sees delay, heaven sees development. God will never put you in a position you're not prepared for. Every season of waiting, every trial of faith, every quiet night, they are building the strength you will need for what's coming. When you finally understand this, peace floods your spirit. You stop fighting God's timing and start flowing with it. You stop asking, when? And start saying, I'm ready. You begin to trust that wherever you are is exactly where you need to be. Even in the chaos, even in the uncertainty, even in the silence, you know God is moving. You stop begging for signs and start seeing signs everywhere. Every closed door becomes confirmation. Every redirection becomes reassurance. Your spirit becomes calm even when your surroundings are stormy, because you know movement doesn't always look peaceful. It just always leads to purpose. When God is moving you, He begins to awaken something ancient and powerful within your soul. A deep awareness that your life was never meant to be ordinary. You start to feel it like fire in your bones, an urgency that won't let you rest. You can't explain it to everyone because it's not logical. It's spiritual. The people around you may not understand what's happening because they can't see what you see. They can't hear what you hear. They still speak the language of the earth, while your spirit is learning to listen to the voice of heaven. God begins to open your inner ear, your inner sight, and your spiritual understanding. Suddenly, you begin to see beyond circumstances. You recognize divine patterns where others see confusion. You understand that life is not falling apart. It's falling into place. And as this awakening deepens, you start to realize that divine movement requires trust more than understanding. God will not always explain His plan to you, because if He did, your mind might try to interfere with what your spirit must obey. When God is moving you, logic will not always make sense, and yet your soul will feel certain. That's the paradox of divine transition. Your intellect wrestles while your spirit rejoices. You will feel torn between what you see and what you sense. But God is teaching you to trust the unseen. Faith is not proven in clarity, it is proven in the fog. When everything is uncertain, faith is your compass and trust is your foundation. God will not show you the whole staircase. He will only show you the next step, because He wants you to move by obedience, not by calculation. You may not know where He's taking you, but He knows exactly where you belong. That's the beauty of surrender. You stop trying to manipulate outcomes and begin to rest in divine orchestration. You begin to understand that peace is not found in knowing everything. It's found in knowing that God is in control of everything. When you truly grasp that truth, your fear begins to die. You stop asking, what if it doesn't work? And start declaring, even if it doesn't work my way, it will still work God's way. That's when your heart becomes unshakable. That's when divine confidence is born. And while this transformation is happening within you, God will start to test your patience. Movement does not always mean speed. Sometimes it means waiting in divine stillness while everything within you wants to run ahead. The delay is not denial, it is design. God will keep you hidden while He works on your foundation. The world may think you're forgotten, but heaven is simply perfecting you in private before revealing you in public. God knows when the fruit of your life is ripe enough to be seen. If He releases you too soon, the weight of purpose could crush you. That's why He hides you in obscurity, so your roots can grow deep before your branches spread wide. You may not like the waiting, but waiting builds strength that rushing can never give. When God is moving you, you begin to sense divine timing in everything. You start noticing how certain opportunities appear at just the right moment. You realize that the delays were not meant to punish you, but to protect you from stepping into something prematurely. There are seasons where God withholds success to preserve your soul. He knows that some blessings could become burdens if received too early. So He teaches you patience, not as a punishment, but as preparation. He makes you wait so that when the blessing comes, you won't worship the gift, but the giver. In this sacred process, your relationship with God becomes more intimate. You begin to crave His presence more than His promises. You no longer chase blessings, you chase alignment. You no longer seek things, you seek understanding. You learn to pray differently. You stop asking God to change your circumstances and start asking Him to change you. You stop praying for open doors and start praying for the strength to walk through them when they come. That's the maturity divine movement creates. You begin to understand that it's not about getting what you want. It's about becoming who you're meant to be. And when you reach this level of surrender, God begins to trust you with more. He starts to reveal deeper dimensions of your purpose. You begin to see how every pain was shaping your destiny, how every loss was preparing room for greater gain. You realize that nothing was wasted. Not the tears, not the rejection, not the loneliness. All of it was a divine classroom. God was training you when you thought He was punishing you. He was developing your resilience when you thought He was breaking your spirit. Every unanswered prayer, every closed door, every delay, it all had divine fingerprints on it. You begin to see life not through the lens of disappointment, but through the eyes of divine orchestration. But be careful. When God starts moving you to higher levels, you must guard your heart against pride. Promotion without humility is a trap. God will elevate you not to inflate your ego, but to expand your influence. The higher He takes you, the more He expects you to serve. true greatness is not measured by how many serve you, but by how many you serve. When God moves you upward, He watches to see if you will still bow before Him. The greatest danger of success is forgetting the source of it. God moves those who remain humble. The moment you start believing you achieved by your own power, movement stops. Divine flow depends on divine submission. So, when everything around you starts shifting, when the familiar begins to fall away, when silence replaces clarity, when people leave, when doors close, when life feels uncertain, don't panic. Stand still and know God is moving you. Every storm is carrying you closer to purpose. Every ending is ushering in a beginning. Every disappointment is making room for divine fulfillment. God's movement is not to destroy you, it's to define you. You are being positioned, prepared, and propelled into the destiny written for you before the foundation of time. You may not see it all now, but soon you will. You'll look back and realize it was never chaos, it was choreography. God was moving you every step of the way. Listen to me, my friend. There comes a moment when the waiting breaks, when the clouds that have hidden your destiny suddenly part, and the light of God shines straight through. You have been patient. You have endured. You have wondered if the promise would ever come. But I am here to tell you, the season is changing. God is about to shift you from waiting to sudden victory. The long nights of uncertainty are about to give way to the dawn of fulfillment. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned for something that only God could orchestrate. For some time, you've been in a waiting room, watching others walk into their blessings while you remain still. You've prayed, you've fasted, you've believed, but it seems like heaven has been silent. Yet what you do not see is that in the silence, God was working. In the stillness, He was building the foundation for a victory that would not be temporary but eternal. Waiting is not wasting. Waiting is preparation. Waiting is where your faith is purified. Your character is tested and your trust is refined. When God shifts you, it will not be a gradual move. It will be a sudden manifestation. What took years to delay will happen in a moment. You see, when God decides to move, He does not consult your past, your surroundings, or your limitations. He speaks a word and everything aligns. One divine command can overturn a lifetime of stagnation. One instruction from God can pull you from obscurity into purpose. One moment of divine favor can lift you higher than all the years of struggle could ever bring you. That's the power of a sudden victory. You can't explain it, you can only witness it. You can't predict it, you can only receive it. God's timing is not about convenience, it's about divine revelation. When your time comes, no power on earth can stop it. Many of you have been asking, why has it taken so long? But if only you could see what God was aligning behind the scenes, you would understand. God delays nothing without purpose. Every moment you waited, He was strengthening you. Every tear you cried, He was recording it. Every disappointment was an ingredient in the recipe of your transformation. You are not just waiting, you are being shaped. And when the shaping is complete, God releases the sudden victory. The shift will be so rapid that you will stand in awe and say, only God could have done this. There are times when God hides you on purpose. He hides you to protect you. He hides you to prepare you. He hides you so that when you emerge, no one can take credit for what He has done. Some of you are hidden right now and you're thinking, has God forgotten me? No, He has not. You are hidden for revelation. God is about to reveal you at the right time, in the right place, and before the right people. When that moment comes, no opposition, no enemy, no delay can stand in your way. God's favor will go before you and make the crooked path straight. You will walk into rooms you didn't apply for. You will receive blessings you didn't chase. That's what sudden victory looks like. Unexpected, undeniable, unstoppable. There's a reason your waiting has been long. It's because your victory will be great. God never invests deeply in someone He does not plan to use powerfully. The pressure you've been feeling is proof that purpose is close. You've been stretched, refined, purified by fire, and now the vessel is ready to hold the blessing. Don't be discouraged by how long it's taken. God's timing is always perfect. When the shift comes, it will be faster than you can imagine. You'll go from overlooked to celebrated, from last to first, from broken to restored. That's the kind of shift only God can bring. You see, the greatest victories are born in the darkest seasons. When everything seems silent, that's when God is closest. When everything seems still, that's when the shift is forming. You may not feel movement, but that does not mean there isn't momentum. Just because you can't see the hand of God doesn't mean He's not holding you. Sometimes God hides His process to protect your promise. You think nothing is happening, but the truth is, everything is happening. Beneath the soil, roots are deepening. Beneath your pain, strength is growing. Beneath your waiting, victory is forming. And when the moment arrives, it will not come in pieces. It will come suddenly. There's a divine pattern in how God works. He often allows delay before display. He allows waiting before winning. He allows silence before revelation. Why? Because He wants your faith to mature. If everything came instantly, you would never grow roots. But roots are formed in waiting. Faith is proven in stillness. Obedience is measured in silence. God is not punishing you by making you wait. He's preparing you for a victory you can sustain. The shift you are about to experience will not only bless you, it will redefine you. People will look at you and say, "How did this happen?" And you will say, "It was the hand of God." Do not despise your season of waiting. It is sacred. It is where you learn to depend on God alone. It's where you stop trying to make things happen by your strength and start resting in His power. Waiting is where your faith graduates from believing in miracles to walking in miracles. It's where you stop begging God for signs and start trusting Him without them. It's where you discover that God's delays are not His denials, they are His designs. He delays not because He is distant, but because He is perfecting what concerns you. The waiting is almost over. The shift is near. You will not remain where you are much longer. Some of you are standing on the edge of a breakthrough, but can't see it because you are focused on what's not working. But God says, lift your eyes. You are closer than you think. The frustration you feel is the final contraction before birth. Every delay is breaking open the door to something greater. Every disappointment is redirecting you to destiny. You've cried long enough. You've waited long enough. Now it's time for God to show you that He has not forgotten a single promise. What He spoke will manifest. What He promised will appear. What He declared will stand. He is not a man that He should lie. The shift is already in motion. When God shifts you, it doesn't require human approval. He doesn't need a committee to vote in your favor. He doesn't need permission from those who doubted you. He doesn't ask your enemies if they are ready for your promotion. When the appointed time comes, He speaks one word, and the atmosphere rearranges itself to obey Him. The same people who ignored you will look for you. The same doors that were closed will swing open. The same places that rejected you will honor you. That is the power of divine reversal. That is what happens when God shifts you from waiting to sudden victory. You've been faithful in the unseen, and now God is about to reward you in the open. You've served quietly, believed silently, endured privately, and now the unveiling is coming. Every season of hidden labor is about to produce public reward. You didn't quit even when you felt empty. You kept praying even when nothing changed. You kept believing even when the evidence said otherwise. And God saw it all. He saw your faith when no one else did. He saw your perseverance when no one clapped for you. And now heaven has declared, it is time. The waiting season has expired. The shift is activated. Sometimes God will let you reach the edge of your endurance so that when He moves, you'll know it was not your strength that carried you. It was His grace. You will look back and realize that what looked like delay was divine protection. What felt like rejection was redirection. What seemed like silence was strategy. You were never abandoned. You were being aligned. Every closed door was leading you to the right one. Every setback was making you stronger. Every no was preparing you for the greater yes. That's how God works. He hides victory in what looks like defeat. The shift that's coming will make sense of everything that didn't. You will suddenly understand why you had to go through that heartbreak, why that door closed, why those people walked away. It wasn't punishment, it was pruning. God was removing what couldn't go with you to the next level. He was detaching you from distractions so you could step into destiny. You couldn't see it then, but you will see it soon. Every tear, every trial, every test, it was part of the preparation. God wastes nothing. Even your pain was prophetic. Even your silence was strategic. You were not losing. You were learning to trust God in deeper ways. You may feel weary, but don't stop now. You're standing in the transition zone. The shift is not coming. It's already here. You can feel it in your spirit. Doors that were sealed are creaking open. Opportunities that were delayed are resurfacing. The peace that was missing is returning. The favor that was withheld is being released. You can sense the acceleration, can't you? That's not imagination. That's divine confirmation. God is saying, get ready. Because when I move suddenly. I don't need years. I just need a moment. In one night, I can turn famine into abundance. In 1 hour, I can replace loss with overflow. In one command, I can make everything change. But you must stay in position. The shift only comes to those who remain rooted in faith. Do not allow impatience to push you out of alignment. Sometimes the hardest thing to do is to stay still and trust. But trust is the language of victory. When you trust God, even when nothing makes sense, you declare to heaven and earth that you believe in His sovereignty. And that faith becomes the bridge that carries you from waiting to winning. Faith doesn't make things easy. It makes them possible. And when your faith and God's timing collide, the result is sudden victory. Listen closely. Your story is about to change so dramatically that people won't recognize you. The same environment that once mocked you will celebrate you. The same people who once said, "It will never happen," will have to testify, "Only God could do this." You will stand in places you once only dreamed of. You will walk through doors that once intimidated you. You will hold in your hands what you once prayed for with tears. This is not fantasy. It is prophecy. God is not teasing you with hope. He is preparing you for manifestation. The waiting was not wasted. It was the womb of your next season. You're about to witness what it means when God redeems time. All the years that seemed lost, He's about to compress them into moments of favor. What you thought was gone will return multiplied. What you thought was broken will be restored better. God specializes in acceleration. He doesn't need much time to do a mighty thing. One moment of favor can erase decades of delay. You will not need to strive for it. It will chase you down. Blessings will find you in unexpected places. Miracles will locate your address. That's the nature of divine shift. It surprises, it overwhelms, it transforms. But hear me, sudden victory is not about comfort. It's about calling. God doesn't lift you for your pleasure. He lifts you for His purpose. When He shifts you, it's not so you can boast. It's so you can shine. Your story will become a testimony to others who are still waiting. Your breakthrough will ignite faith in those who are weary. The purpose of your victory is not just to bless you. It's to reveal the power of God. So when the shift comes, stay humble. Remember who brought you here. Give glory to the one who turned your waiting into winning. The same God who allowed the delay will empower the delivery. The same God who seemed silent will speak suddenly. The same God who tested your faith will now reward your endurance. This is your turning point. You are crossing over from wondering to witnessing, from hoping to holding, from praying to possessing. The atmosphere is changing. The wind of God is moving. You can feel it, can't you? Something in your spirit knows this is not an ordinary moment. You've come too far, endured too much, and believed too long for this not to be the season of fulfillment. When God is preparing to shift you from waiting to sudden victory, He will often strip away everything that could distract you from His voice. You may lose friends, opportunities, even moments of comfort. But don't misinterpret it as loss. It is refinement. God removes what cannot travel with you into your new season. He takes away what would corrupt your blessing. He silences every noise that could drown out his whisper. You think you are being emptied, but in truth, you are being purified. You think you are being reduced, but you are being refined. Every time something left your life, it made space for something greater that God Himself has appointed for you. The shift begins not when you gain, but when you let go. And once you release what was never meant to stay, God releases what was waiting to come. There is a sacred tension between waiting and winning. It's the place where your faith is built, where your trust in God either grows or dies. Many stop believing just before the shift happens, but those who hold on in the final stretch are the ones who see the miraculous unfold. When God decides your time has come, He doesn't make an announcement. He manifests it in motion. Suddenly, the impossible becomes visible. Suddenly, what was locked becomes open. Suddenly, what was barren begins to bloom. That is how God moves, quietly, then quickly. You will go to bed in one season and wake up in another. What felt like endless delay will dissolve into divine acceleration. That is the power of God's suddenness. You must understand the waiting season is not meant to destroy your hope. It's meant to deepen it. God watches how you behave in the waiting room. Do you complain or do you worship? Do you doubt or do you trust? Because what you do while you wait reveals who you believe God is. Waiting builds maturity, and maturity attracts miracles. God will never promote a heart that resents His timing. If you can be faithful in the quiet, you will be fruitful in the shift. If you can worship in the wilderness, you will reign in the promised land. Waiting tests your foundation. It shows whether your faith is built on convenience or conviction. There are times when God will deliberately allow your strength to run out. Not because He wants to see you fail, but because He wants to teach you that victory doesn't come from your hands. It comes from His power. You will try every door, and they will all stay closed until you realize that only God holds the key. When you reach the end of yourself, that's when His strength begins. You stop striving and start surrendering. You stop worrying and start trusting. And in that moment of surrender, something shifts. Heaven takes over. The battle ceases to be yours and it becomes God's. That is when the supernatural begins to move. What you couldn't do in years, God will do in a single act of grace. Do not mistake stillness for inactivity. God is never idle. He is working behind the curtain of time, aligning people, preparing opportunities, and orchestrating divine timing. When He moves, everything will make sense. The waiting will no longer feel wasted. It will feel necessary. You will say, "Now I understand why it had to happen this way." God never wastes delay. Every postponed dream, every unanswered prayer, every moment of silence, all of it serves His purpose. He hides His plan to reveal His power. When He acts, He does so in perfection, not haste. The sudden victory is not rushed, it is right on time. There are seasons where God hides your progress. You might feel stuck, but in truth, you are advancing in the unseen. The roots of your faith are going deeper. The foundation of your destiny is solidifying. If the blessing came too soon, it would collapse under the weight of immaturity. But when it comes in God's time, it will last. A sudden victory built on a strong foundation can stand through storms. You're not waiting for something small. You're being trusted with something great. That's why the process feels so heavy. The higher the calling, the deeper the preparation. When the shift begins, even the smallest things will start to change. Your thoughts will expand. Your peace will deepen. Your spirit will feel lighter. You'll begin to see signs of movement. Subtle confirmations that something is turning in your favor. The people who once overlooked you will start to notice you. The situations that felt impossible will begin to bend. The timing of everything will start to align. And when it happens, it won't feel forced. It will feel divine. You will realize that God's hand was guiding you all along. Every delay had a direction. Every detour was divine. You didn't miss anything. You were being positioned for everything. Some of you have been carrying the weight of disappointment. You have prayed and seen no result. You have waited and received no sign. But hear this truth. The silence of God is not the absence of God. He may be quiet, but He is not gone. The teacher is always silent during the test, but that doesn't mean He's not in the room. God's silence is a strategy. It's in those moments that He sees what's in your heart. Do you still believe when there's no sign? Do you still trust when there's no sound? Those who endure silence are being prepared for revelation. The quiet is not empty. It's sacred. You may not see it yet, but God is already shifting things in your favor. He is softening hearts that were hardened against you. He is removing obstacles that stood in your path. He is aligning opportunities that were hidden from your sight. Everything that once resisted you is about to release you. You will move forward not by effort, but by divine ease. Doors will open without struggle. The right people will find you. The right moments will reveal themselves. What once took force will now flow. Because when God shifts you, He removes the resistance. What was hard becomes easy. What was slow becomes swift. That's the evidence that God's hand is upon you. And when the victory comes, it won't come in parts. It will come in fullness. God doesn't give half blessings. When He decides to reward your faith, He does it completely. You will not only recover what you lost, you will gain what you never had. The shift will not only lift you, it will establish you. God doesn't promote you to prove a point. He promotes you to fulfill a purpose. You will stand as evidence that waiting on God is never in vain. Those who mocked you will witness what patience with faith produces. You will become a living testimony that when God says it's time, no one can delay it. There will be moments when you'll be tempted to question God's pace. But remember, speed without direction is destruction. God delays not to withhold, but to perfect. He ensures that what you're asking for won't destroy you when it arrives. He is not just preparing the blessing, He's preparing you to carry it. If you rush what isn't ready, you risk losing it. But when it comes in God's time, it stays. Every divine delay is for your safety. Every unanswered prayer is for your growth. God is not slow, He is strategic. And when He moves, it will happen suddenly, but it will not be surprising to your spirit. You will know it was God all along. The human heart struggles with waiting because it equates movement with progress. But in God's dimension, stillness can be the highest form of advancement. Sometimes the greatest movement happens internally. God changes your heart before He changes your situation. He transforms your mindset before He transforms your environment. You think you're waiting for a breakthrough in the world around you, but God is waiting for a breakthrough in the world within you. Once your faith aligns with His plan, everything outside you will begin to respond. The world must bow to the heart that trusts completely in God. And when that moment comes, when everything shifts, you will feel it in your bones. The atmosphere around you will testify that something new has begun. What used to drain you will no longer affect you. What used to intimidate you will no longer have power. You will walk in authority, speak with clarity, and live with confidence. Because once God elevates you, He also equips you. He gives you the wisdom to manage the blessing, the strength to sustain the favor, and the peace to remain humble through it all. The victory that is coming will not just change your life, it will reveal your purpose. Let me tell you this, sudden victory is not the end of the story. It's the beginning of a new assignment. When God shifts you, it's not just to bless you, it's to use you. You will become an instrument of inspiration, a vessel through which others will see the faithfulness of God. Your story will become the sermon that someone else needs to hear. The same people who once pitied you will now draw strength from your testimony. God will use your life as living proof that waiting never weakens those who trust. It strengthens them. You will stand before others, not to boast, but to point upward and say, God did this. So hold your peace. Don't let impatience steal your promise. Don't let fear convince you that it's too late. Time doesn't limit God. Time obeys Him. When He commands your season to shift, even years of delay must bow to His will. You will see things happen that logic can't explain. Opportunities will come that no effort could produce. People you never met will carry blessings meant for you. This is the kind of victory that shocks the mind and humbles the heart. The waiting is about to end, not because you earned it, but because God ordained it. The moment you feel like giving up is often the moment before the miracle. The pressure you feel is not punishment. It's proof of transformation. A seed breaks before it blooms. So when you feel like everything is falling apart, it may be that everything is falling into place. Don't curse the breaking. It's the process that leads to birthing. God is about to show you that the pain was prophetic. What hurt you prepared you. What delayed you developed you. What challenged you changed you. And now, because you did not quit, you are ready for what's next. God has seen your endurance, and the reward will be undeniable. This is your turning point. This is where the story reverses. Every dry place is about to blossom. Every closed door is about to open. Every burden is about to lift. You have waited long enough. Heaven has already signed the release. The season of frustration is over. The waiting is being replaced by divine fulfillment. The same hands that held you in stillness are now pushing you into motion. You will not have to chase what belongs to you. It will find you. You will not have to fight for recognition. God Himself will announce you. You will not have to struggle for favor. It will rest on you like a crown. Your steps are being ordered. Your timing is being perfected. And your name is being whispered in places you've never been. God is aligning every piece. Nothing has been random, nothing wasted. Every disappointment, every detour, every delay was part of the map to your destiny. The shift is not coming, it is here. You are about to walk into rooms that were built while you were waiting. You are about to receive blessings that were preserved just for you. You are about to step into peace that will make the pain of the past irrelevant. The victory will be so complete, so divine, so undeniable, that every struggle will seem small compared to what God is about to do. So stand firm in faith. Lift your voice in gratitude. What you have prayed for, believed for, and waited for is now being released. God is shifting you from waiting to sudden victory. And when it happens, it will happen swiftly, powerfully, beautifully, and unmistakably. You will know it was never by your strength, it was by His hand alone. And now, beloved, hear this truth. With all your heart, your waiting was not in vain. Every tear, every unanswered prayer, every silent night, God has seen it all. You have not been overlooked. You have been preserved. The same God who watched you weep will now watch you rise. The same God who allowed the storm will now command the calm. He has measured your endurance, and the measure is full. The time of testing has accomplished its purpose, and now the time of triumph begins. The heavens have already shifted in your favor. What was delayed is about to be delivered. What was promised is about to be performed. Stand still and feel it. Change is in the air. The old weight is lifting. The old walls are breaking. And the old fears are dissolving. God is breathing new life into your path. You will see acceleration where there was once stagnation. You will see open doors where there were walls. You will see divine connections where there was isolation. Every step you take now will be ordered with precision, for the hand of God has gone before you. The waiting season has ended. The manifestation season has begun. This is your divine moment of crossing. You are stepping out of the wilderness and into the land of fulfillment. You are moving from tears to triumph, from prayer to possession, from believing to beholding. Walk boldly, for God Himself is leading you. Speak with confidence, for His word is backing you. Live with peace, for His favor is surrounding you. The days of sorrow are behind you, and the sound of victory is before you. Do not fear what's ahead. It's been designed for your rise. Do not question what you've endured. It was the soil for your strength. You are about to experience what eyes have not seen and what ears have not heard. You are about to stand in the very place that once seemed impossible. And when you do, you will know deep within your soul, it was God who did it all. So lift your head high, thank Him in advance, walk forward with unwavering faith. For the shift has begun, and it will not stop until every promise is fulfilled. God is about to turn your waiting into sudden victory. The season has changed. The hour has come. The victory is yours by the power, mercy, and faithfulness of God alone.